What to do when you're in the middle of a job and things go wrong. So one of the things that I learned, and I keep learning, and I hope that some of you guys are able to learn, is that when you do a job, there may be other jobs that are co-intertwined with this job or codependent on a certain job that you may not be prepared to deal with. And so we're going to look at some of these scenarios, so hopefully we can give you guys a good idea of where to look for problems. So here are 3 specific jobs where things don't always go right. A good one would be adjusting the alternator belts on a 123 series car. Oftentimes you might be changing the belts and then you find out that the bracket or the adjuster is bad. So a good thing to do in this case would be to check the adjuster for any damage or bending prior to doing the alternator belts. This happens time and time again. I'll get a car in here for the first time and I'll see that the adjuster is broken or damaged. What do? Well, now I've learned that if I'm going to service 123s, I need to keep a spare adjuster on the shelf. In your case, before you do your belts, try to assess the condition of the adjuster. Another great case would be the timing chain. I find that when I'm doing the timing chain on a 560 SL or a similar car, guess what? The number of parts I need is not just a timing chain and tensioner. Sometimes it's chain guides, sometimes belts, sometimes spark plugs, sometimes valve cover gaskets, sometimes cam oil or tube kits. So in this case, you might want to look at all these stuff that you're going to touch when you do the timing chain before you do it, because it's a waste of time to have to go back in after you've pulled the fan off to do belts. It's much easier to do belts while you're in there. That's why I bundle jobs, because it saves customers on labor and we deal with stuff that almost always has to be done at the same time. A third job where I really like to get things under control before I go in is when I'm doing windshield gaskets. It's a good idea if you're doing a windshield gasket to make sure there's no rust hiding in the windshield channel before you go in. Now, this might mean doing some planing on the back end, saying I'm going to cut my old windshield gasket out and rope the new windshield in, but I'm also going to make sure I have a plan B and I have a body shop I can contact where I can take the car quickly and expeditiously if there is rust involved underneath the channel. So in that case, it might mean giving yourself the option of having more time to continue the job to do it right. Simple enough, right? A fourth scenario where I try to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row before I go in is when I'm doing a front subframe repair. Now, on the front subframes in the W108 and 109 cars, as we learned yesterday on one of my customers' cars, the subframe mount bolts can break off inside the subframe. Now, in this case, what do? Well, before you start off with a job like this, you want to make sure that you have the right people in your arsenal. For example, you might want to make sure you know a machinist where you can go in case you have a broken bolt. You might want to make sure that you have the right torch available to heat the bolt up in case it has to come out. You might want to make sure that you have a good used subframe laying around in case you're worried about damage to the subframe, or at least you know where to find one. I always tell people that if you don't know the uncertain parts of repairing a car, it's good to figure out what the uncertainties or the variable parts or the parts that can stop you dead in your tracks or completely inhibit your success are before you do the job. And that's basically what I'm trying to emphasize. And unfortunately on Mercedes, there are a lot of these things going on, whether it is a stripped motor mount bolt keeping you from taking your motor mount out, or whether it is a part that's no longer available that you might need when you're doing a specific job. It's a good idea to know where the potential pitfalls are before you even begin the job, and that's the lesson here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to become one of our subscribers, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button, and then suddenly you will become a Mercedes Classic preservationist, and you will be part of our giant family of roughly 22,000 subscribers. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with somebody who might also appreciate it, because we need to keep these cars on the road. That is the mission of this channel. The mission of this channel is not for me to attract attention to myself or make myself look good or make my shop seem like it's the best shop in the world. It's to empower people who want to have these cars with the knowledge they need to service them and repair them themselves. Because what I love to see are do-it-yourselfer owners that have figured out the secrets of their car. I would love to hear more from you guys in the comments, and thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. We'll see you next time.